Have you guys ever had a taijutsu build in Shindo Life and want to know what taijutsu bloodline is the best? We'll look no further in this video about to find out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, let's get right to the video, guys. By the way, I'm going to be ranking the taijutsu bloodlines based off of their visual effects in the game and not actually what they scale off of. I will mention what they scale off of just in case that matters to you. But just keep in mind that this is going to be based off of like how much it punches and stuff like that, because that's what taijutsu is. Alright, so coming in 7th place on this taijutsu bloodline tier list is going to be Jokai. Now, Jokai being in last place is actually pretty obvious, all things considered. It doesn't really do as much damage as all the other bloodlines in the game. It's not like it's an absolutely horrible bloodline that just needs to be wiped off of the face of the earth. It's not like that, but it's definitely not even close to being the best. I mean, the abilities of Jokai, they do a medium amount of damage. It has an okay, you know, iframe ability that knocks people back. It has a pretty good combo extender that now has iframes again, which actually does make Jokai a lot better than what it was. But in the end, Jokai is exactly that. It's a mid bloodline. There's not really much else to say. It's just kind of the fact of the moves they're hard to combo extend with, even though it is possible to I just got tombstoned, but it's not like it's impossible to combo extend with it. You can do it from the knockback of the first ability. You can do it with the iframe knockback. The third ability knockback, you can combo off of that as well. But there's abilities that are extremely easy to combo with, and this doesn't even do that much damage with the actual combo. So this is just one of those bloodlines that you kind of just stick with if you have to. It's literally only if you have to. Now coming to 6th place is going to be Arahaki Jokai. I like to call it Golden Jokai, even though that's actually a skin in the game now. But Arahaki Jokai is just quite literally a better version of Jokai. It does more damage than Jokai. It's the exact same thing, but better. That's how they used to do the things that used to be similar in the game. They used to literally just make it a little bit better than the original. There's not much to say about it. It's literally just Jokai, but better. If you guys saw what it said for Jokai, literally all the same stuff applies. But Arahaki Jokai is obviously a lot more fitting into the meta just because it's better. I already feel like the video right now, you get 60 million times luck getting the best bloodlines in Shindo Life. The only way to find out if it works is to hit that like button, subscribe. Alright, so coming to 5th place is going to be Kenichi. Now, I'm going to say this very simply for you. Kenichi is mode carried. It is the most mode carried bloodline on this entire list, in my opinion. The actual Kenichi's abilities are not that great because they either have gap, they're either hard to hit, they either do not combo extend that well, or they're just straight up bad. And also, I'd like to say that the fact that there's hand signs on the moves also make it quite a bit worse, if I'm going to be honest with you. But in the end of things, I mean, Kenichi, the mode does carry it to 5th place on this list instead of being last place. The mode is honestly quite good. You do have the second mode, which is just a free, you know, auto dodge mode. You guys know how good auto dodge modes are. And the first mode is just a pretty good combo extending mode. I mean, like, it's honestly up to you what you guys want to consider Kenichi, because I do think that it is in the running for being the worst and simultaneously a okay bloodline in the game. It is all up to what you guys think about the mode. It's all up to how good you guys think auto dodge modes are, or just combo extending modes are. Because in the end of things, I do think that the fact that it does have an auto dodge mode does make it quite a bit better. But if you know how to deal with auto dodge modes, it shouldn't be an issue to you at all. Now coming to 4th place is going to be Ryuji Kenichi. Now, the main reason for it being this low in the list, I know like halfway through the list is low, right? But it's because the low HP mode was severely nerfed, as it should have been. I'm very happy about the nerfs. I no longer have to worry about low HP users in the game. They were, you know, it's not like it was impossible to fight them or beat them or anything like that. It just stalled out fights way too long. It was just super dumb. But yeah, Ryuji Kenichi, obviously the low HP mode did actually carry it quite a bit, but the actual moves themselves are also quite good. The throwable is actually a type of counter, which is just the Z spec, but you're allowed to actually go and actually hit them and stuff like that. OP's dead. The actual abilities of Ryuji Kenichi are also actually quite good. I think people kind of, you know, they kind of underrate the abilities a bit when it comes to Ryuji Kenichi, because the first move is a pretty good combo extender. OP's dead. I forgot. It's an okay combo extender. There's not much else to say about the first move. The second move is just kind of a big damage ability. I would honestly say that the main ability of Ryuji Kenichi's that is actually the best in my opinion is the third one. It's an instantaneous combo extender. You can use an instant ability, and you know, you can actually combo extend with it if you guys use an instant ability afterwards. Like I said before, there's just better bloodlines in the game than a lot of these, and at the moment, Ryuji Kenichi is just an average bloodline, and average doesn't really cut it right now in the meta, because there are just super broken things. Average isn't good enough, but average is fine. Now coming to 3rd place on this list is going to be Vengeance / Sun Knight. Now, this is quite obviously a taijutsu based bloodline. I do not know if it scales off of taijutsu or not. I think it doesn't. I think some of it does, some of it doesn't. But when it comes to Vengeance, literally the entire kit is punching. That is the entirety of Vengeance. Vengeance I would like to say that they should have called it like Bat Kenichi or something, because that would have been really cool in my opinion. They're calling it Vengeance. Obviously, all the abilities are punching based. The main abilities that people actually use for Vengeance, the abilities that people consider to be actually worth worth using. The abilities that you usually see in the game are the first and second ability. First one is like, it's an insanely easy to use combo extender. That's kind of the main reason why people use it a lot. And the second move, look, I'm spamming my mouse and my reticle wasn't even on him and it still hit him. So the second move is kind of like a skill issue saver. So if you have a skill issue, the second move is a pretty good combo extender. Obviously, the weapon spec of the mode isn't that great. It's just, yeah, it's literally just a counter that isn't that good. And the throwable is a batarang. It's honestly fine. I do think the explosions does make it quite a bit worse. And if you can manage to hit them with the car, it does do a lot of damage. I think the car itself, you could do up to like 120,000 damage off the car alone, which is actually quite good. But in the end of things, Vengeance is very much carried by the first and second ability because they're just really easy to use. They're just easy to use abilities. I think it is kind of like a skill issue bloodline, but that's fine, right? Also, Sun Knight is the exact same. Now, coming to second place on this list is going to be Bruce Kenichi. You heard that correctly. Bruce Kenichi is going to be in second. This bloodline is pretty overrated in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to use it either, if I'm going to be honest, but it is pretty overrated as a bloodline. I mean, the mode itself, what made it so good was the fact you can move stack with it. You still can, but it's at the very end of it instead of actually being good. So you can still move stack with it, but it isn't a very good move stack anymore. Also, the weapon spec is also quite bad. It's just a dash move that does a bit of damage. It's like a dash M1. That's kind of the best thing to say about it. You guys are thinking it like this, oh, the mode is mid. I mean, like, look at the stats when the mode are terrible, then surely the moves will carry it. And that's the reason why I think this bloodline's a little bit overrated. The moves honestly are not that good, but the reason why it's going to be ranked second is because I do think it is a lot better than the other bloodlines on this list. I mean, it's actually very usable compared to those bloodlines, in all honesty. I mean, it has a pretty okay mode ability, even if the mode stats, they're horrid. The mode stats are quite literally one of the worst terrible stats in the entire game. That's why nobody uses the mode, because the stats are horrid. But the actual abilities, they do kind of come back. I'm going to show you the third ability last, because that is actually the ability that does carry the bloodline. The first ability is kind of an air combo ability. I mean, like, the combo a lot of people do is the first and the second into third. That's what everyone does. It's not a very good combo. You want to weave in stuff between it. Now, the second ability, you can use it if you're actually in the mode. If you're out of mode, it is air combo locked, which is obviously a huge mistake in my opinion. It makes it significantly worse than it should be. Now, the third ability of Bruce Kenichi is actually the ability I use. It's usually the ability a lot of people use when they use Bruce, because it is actually an okay ability. I mean, like, the third ability is pretty much a guaranteed combo extender. It does like what, like 25,000-30,000 damage. Not that bad overall. I do think Bruce, even though it is a very overrated bloodline, it also is okay enough to be second on this list, just because Taijutsu bloodlines in the game are quite bad. Now, an honorable mention I do want to throw onto the list is actually going to be Light Jokai. Now, Light Jokai itself is really not that, you know, the reason why it's going to be an honorable mention and not actually on the list is because it's not really a Taijutsu based bloodline, but since all of the other Jokais are also on the list, I'm actually going to throw Light Jokai on as well. Light Jokai overall is a pretty good bloodline. It is very mode carried and second ability carried, so the mode is quite good, and obviously you do have the counter ability. The counter ability, it allows you to actually get combos off and stuff like that. It's a pretty good ability overall. And then if you were to actually use Light Jokai, I would recommend staying away from the first and third ability, as they're just quite literally terrible. Like, they're borderline terrible. But the main reason why, you know, Light Jokai is regarded as being a pretty good bloodline is because of the mode and second ability. Just because the mode allows you to combo extend really easily. The mode M1s actually they do Chi Drain, and obviously they don't have any knockback anymore, which made this bloodline significantly better than what it was before. I would also like to say that the mode weapon spec, it is okay. I mean, you're most likely going to get countered if you try to use it against someone, but you know, it is what it is. And just stay away from that first and third ability and just stick to the second in mode if you guys are actually going to use Light Jokai. The coming to first place is going to be Doku Tengoku. Now, this one's going to be a controversial one, because is it a Taijutsu bloodline or not? I think it is. I think it is a Taijutsu based bloodline, but when you factor in the mode, it cannot be a Taijutsu based bloodline. So it's honestly up to you. It's your interpretation of it. If you don't think this is a Taijutsu based bloodline, just remove it from the bloodline tier list and just rank everything one higher. But when it comes to Doku, you obviously have the first ability, which is a pretty good block breaking ability. Obviously, you do have the buffed M1s. The actual mode spec is also quite good. Like, they did buff Doku, so now Doku's actually a pretty good bloodline. Now, the Taijutsu based of this bloodline that I actually think, the second move is a punch ability that knocks them super far backwards. I know, punching them in the face. And the counter is literally just, it's like the third ability of the Jokais, but as a counter. So I mean, it's honestly up to you whether you want to call this a taijutsu based bloodline, but Doku Togoku is definitely a really good bloodline now. It obviously has one of the best counters in the game now. The block break is also quite good. The mode isn't terrible anymore because it doesn't knock him back. So it's honestly up to you. It's your interpretation of what makes the bloodline a taijutsu bloodline or not. If it's based off, if you think it's scaled off taijutsu, that's what calls it taijutsu bloodline. This scales off ninjutsu. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe. Hosting them, guys.